Welcome to episode 24.
2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
Awesome.
Of Off the Cuff, where we answer your questions about Lego. Today we've got a number of topics. We're going to be talking about Lego architecture, priorities on the pab wall, and some castle mocks.
Sweet.
Then at the end, we're going to talk about some upcoming sets that are coming out in September, the Black Pearl and Hogsmeade.
Oh.
So stay tuned for that.
Nice. All right, cool. It should be fun.
All right. Our first question comes from Craig Scott 6148. He asks, what is the castle behind you? It's got to be a mock, but I'm curious if it's something you and the family made. I'm a sucker for castles.
Yes, this is our Lionsgate Castle, or what was intended to be part of Lionsgate Castle, that morphed into something really big that was really too big to complete when we were at it. So this is something we spent a while building a couple of years ago. I worked on it a little bit with the kids, and yeah, it's, I think, really cool. I love how it turned out in the front, especially this part right here. And I actually talked about destroying it about a year and a half ago, because I was like, I don't really think we're going to continue with the project, but it has received actually pretty good comments from people in our videos saying like, that's really cool, and so it's, we'll keep that up there. So that is our Lionsgate Castle, our attempt to build a massive castle that turned into just like the front part of a massive castle, or the massive front part of a massive castle.
Yeah, the only reason we didn't continue it was because to purchase the amount of pieces we would need to complete it just got prohibitively expensive.
Yeah, especially at the time, like when we built this, we weren't monetized as a channel, we were just monetized as a channel, and so we weren't really making much money. We're not making tons of money now, but like we weren't making barely anything, and so it definitely was not a financially viable project. And that's one thing I actually want to talk about in another video coming up down the line, about how like a lot of these big projects are more expensive than you might think, or that a lot of people think when it comes to what YouTubers are doing. But that's, again, more to come on that.
All right. Okay, our next question comes from Neon Pop 80. This person asks, why are the horses brick-based and not like the usual horses in the Creator Castle 3-in-1?
That's a really good question. So this is something that has generated quite a bit of controversy among LEGO fans, especially Castle fans. As this new Creator 3-in-1 Castle is very, very interesting. It's coming out August 1st, and it has a couple of brick-built horses. Now, I don't know the official reasons for why, because we know that LEGO does give us actual animals, like pre-molded animals in Creator sets from time to time. My speculation is twofold. The first is that they might actually need those pieces for some of these secondary and tertiary models in the building. So their compromise is, we're not going to do that pre-molded horse, we're going to use these pieces, that way we can use them again in the other buildings or the builds. Another reason could be budgetary. They might say, we have this amount of budget for the pieces that we get in the set. The pre-molded horses cost a certain amount, and we can do it cheaper by doing some brick-built horses, and maybe we'll sink more of the budget into the minifigs. And I think that's one thing that has a lot of Castle fans excited about this set, is the minifigs. I think a lot of fans think the build is not quite as strong as the 2021 Creator 3-in-1 Castle, and I tend to agree until we review the set. But maybe that budget went into the minifigs instead of the horses, which could make sense. And then maybe another reason is that they just wanted to embrace the idea of Creator 3-in-1 being predominantly brick-built, and let's just continue with brick-built animals, maybe paying homage to the 1978 Yellow Castle, even though there's really nothing about this that does that, with the exception of the horses. So that could be another reason. But absent an actual declaration from LEGO as to why that's the case, that's my speculation.
All right. Spirit Hollow Hunter asks, what's your favorite architecture set, and do you own any? Love the channel, and the architecture sets are my personal favorite.
Nice. Well, thanks for watching, and we appreciate your support. Yeah, I like the architecture line. I don't have a ton of the sets for a couple of reasons. Number one, just the way we line up the budgets tends to be more modular Castle, Lord of the Rings focus, as you can kind of tell, and the Ninjago City stuff. Like, that's just kind of what we're into in terms of what we spend our money on. Now, what we're into in terms of all their overall LEGO is probably broader than that. I know you're a big fan of this one right here. I like the architecture sets because I like to travel, and so it reminds me of all these places all over the world, and I like geography. So that kind of appeals to me. So Colin did get me my first set of my own, which is the Taj Mahal, so that's cool. I like that one better than the really big one because it's
doesn't take up as much space. So I can just have it on my mirror dresser and it doesn't take up. It's not like the whole central focus of the room, but it's not like the teeny tiny one either. So I like the size of that one. It's very detailed. It's nice. And then this skyline over here was actually given to us by a friend. It's for the kids. And then Colin got this one a while ago.
Yeah, it was a gift. Yeah.
So this is really all we have, of course, until next month.
Yes, in August when we get Schloss Neuschwanstein coming out, and that's one that we're all excited for. So it's kind of interesting with architecture. I definitely enjoyed some of the architecture sets early on. Like, I didn't buy them because I didn't have the money, but Falling Water, the Roby House, and others I thought were really, really well done, and I liked the original intent of the line. And sometimes the sets, like this one, is definitely one that was so well done and really, really cool. I know it's a little tedious putting all these 1x1 tiles down, but it was a really nice set. One that we don't have that I would love to get, and I've been looking on Facebook Marketplace for just a little bit, is the Pyramids of Giza. That one's a really cool one. And we have these two over here, which are nice. But yeah, the Schloss Neuschwanstein, like, you love the architecture. You might be going to Germany perhaps with Kiara next year, so you might be able to visit that one. So that'd be kind of cool. Plus, it's a castle, so that makes me really happy. It's like the perfect combination of architecture sets. So we're really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, the other ones I really like are the Trevi Fountain. I think that's a really neat looking set. Yeah. A friend of ours has the Notre Dame Cathedral, and that's really nice. It looks great. Another one I think I really like personally is I can't remember the name of it. It starts with an H. That Japanese
Himeji Castle. Yeah.
That one looks pretty sweet. Even the Wall of China also. There's a lot of great ones. If I had to pick one, I don't know. Maybe that Japanese castle.
The Himeji Castle.
Himeji Castle. That one's pretty nice.
Yeah, they're really well done. And I know a lot of fans wish that LEGO could come up with more architecture sets, and also some that are a little bit more budget friendly. Like, if you go with Notre Dame and you got the Schloss Neuschwanstein, like, you end up with a lot of higher end, highly priced architecture sets. It would be nice to get some of the smaller ones, kind of like these over here. Even this one was, I think, $100 or $120 when it came out in 2021. So actually a really, I think, fairly reasonable set. There are a lot of small pieces to it, but I think it was really, really well done. So more sets in that price range, please.
I mean, I do think the architecture set line does do a pretty good job of having the big ones and the small ones. Like, you have the big ones that you can get a lot of detail in, and then these little ones that's, just kind of a cool little memento to have up on the shelf, like, for that place. So yeah. I think they do a decent job of that.
We're still waiting for the Architecture Line Cleveland Skyline sets. I'm kind of kidding. It's not that noteworthy, but I do like it.
It is a nice skyline, though.
It is. It's well done, yeah.
All right, a couple quick questions regarding the Jane Austen.
Rapid fire, okay.
Tribute. First of all, Luis Art Tank wants to know, can I still get this set? I am a little late.
At this point, I don't believe so, unless you want to get it on the second-hand market. And because this is off the cuff and she doesn't tell me the questions ahead of time, I don't know how much it goes for right now on the secondary market, but I would anticipate that, get it sooner rather than later, just because as some of those copies get snatched up on the secondary market, the supply goes down. And if demand also isn't going down correspondingly, the prices will go up. So it's something that I would take a look at. BrickLink, eBay, and Facebook Marketplace. You might see some people advertising it there. So check those out. I personally thought it was a really, really good set. Like, I really enjoyed building it, and I thought it was a lot of fun. There's some good building techniques, some pieces, and the Jane Austen minifig. If you're a Jane Austen fan, this is really, I think, a very strong set. So what would I recommend maybe the price be that you look for? I would say the $30 to $40 range might be what you could realistically find it at some point. But again, I haven't looked up the price lately, so yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it's a little late to get that from the LEGO store, but certainly not the secondary market.
And then just real quick, M1SS1X wants to know if the piano is a sticker or printed piece.
Oh, that is a printed piece. Oh. Yeah, so they do a nice job of providing some of that. Some printed pieces there, yeah. Yeah, they do have like a couple different piano type prints on 1x2 and I think 1x4 tiles. Don't quote me on that, but in the comments below you can let me know if I'm wrong.
That's very good. I'm all about pianos, so yeah. That sounds good. All right, Moving on to a fun question from RoboBrick's channel.
Yeah.
If you had 1 minute at the pick-a-brick wall, which piece would you go for first?
I'm a sucker for bricks. So I'm going to be looking for, that's the first thing I look at when I walk up to a pick-a-brick wall. And I know that there are other really good pieces on there, tiles, even like window elements, some of the double doors they had that I think are really cool. But my go-to are bricks. And just a little background, when I got back into Lego in 2006, so I took about 10 years off, like at Dark Ages when I was going through high school, college. My initial goal was twofold. One, to get all the pieces off of BrickLink that could help me build all of the 1980s and up to mid-1990s castle sets. And two, to get like 1,000 1x2 bricks in all of like the main colors that Lego had. Just because it's like if you have a bunch of 1x2 bricks with some 1x1s, you can do a lot of really good things with your builds, and you can build a lot of different things with it. So when I walk up to the pick-a-brick wall, I am all about let's get as many bricks as we possibly can, which is why in our more recent pick-a-brick ventures, we definitely have started with bricks, and then from there maybe branched off to pieces that the kids like, or that I will concede are probably important if you want to have a good mock. So bricks, and more bricks.
There's some buzz around the upcoming Black Pearl set.
Ooh, yeah.
What are your thoughts on what that set might be like?
Well, so we've already seen like 2.5, 2 3/4 of the minifigs. I think we saw Gibbs, we saw Jack Sparrow, except for the face, and I'm drawing a blank which the other one. Oh, Elizabeth. So it's going to be a little bit different from the old Black Pearl, the one that came out like 15 years ago. I'm drawing a blank. It was like 2010, 2011 era Black Pearl, which I think was kind of like an older school. It had, Davy Jones, and it had Bootstrap Bill. So it had like that crew rather than the crew from the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I think it's going to be a significant upgrade from that version. I know as Julia edits this one, she's going to put that image of the original one up here. So you can see it's a lot of like the prefab hull pieces, but it's also one that if you look at more modern Lego sets, I don't think it holds up as well as say the Imperial flagship from about a year or two later, the big like soldier ship that came out in the Pirates line. So I think it's going to be more like that. I think it's going to be really big. It's 3,000 I think pieces, and there are going to be a lot of really cool details. I'm curious to see what it looks like in terms of the masts and the sails. Do we get printed sails? Do we get tattered sails? Do we get, just like the old version, just solid black sails? Do they use any creative techniques for the hulls? Is it partially brick build? Is it with some of the prefab hulls? Is it entirely brick build? Is it entirely predicated on those hull pieces? So like those are little things that I'm looking at. And of course, when I was a kid, what helped determine if a ship was cool was the number of cannons that it had. So how many cannons does it have? Are they the actual Lego cannons that will fire when you pull back the mechanism and shoot out the little cannonball? Or are they like brick-built cannons? Like that's one thing that I'm curious to see. And then all the little Easter eggs and the details that we see in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. So I'm really excited for this one. I think that a lot of fans are as well. And I think one of the hesitations that we have as Lego fans is sometimes we build up the potential of a set and then it feels underwhelming when Lego actually announces it. So I'm very curious to see what happens with that, but I'm excited for that one. September is going to be a really insane month because you've got Arkham Asylum and Hogsmeade, which I think you mentioned earlier in the video.
Yeah, another set that could be intriguing is Hogsmeade, and what are your expectations for that set?
So this is like wow. The large D2C direct-to-consumer Harry Potter sets have been a big spag in my opinion. Like I think that there were some very clever ones, like the Harry Potter Hogwarts icons, which had the Hedwig and the scarf and the glasses and all that, which I thought was really cool. I didn't get it, but I thought I could see like the appeal of it. To Diagon Alley, which I thought was excellent, probably the best one of all the large sets, to the Gringotts, which is actually standing right there, just off camera, that I loved the bank, but I didn't appreciate the extra, 1/3 of the set that had to be this underground vault that I had to buy in order to get a Gringotts peg that was compatible with my Diagon Alley. To even one on display, it's in the background, you probably can't see it, but the burrow from last year, which I thought was a little underwhelming when all said and done. So like, it's a mixed bag. So Hogsmeade, I think, has the opportunity to go more in the direction of Diagon Alley, which a lot of fans love that set. It was on shelves from 2020 all the way through, I think it's retiring at the end of this year. So it's a pretty good like 5-year shelf life, which is impressive for any Lego set, which tells you, I think, the quality of the set, the design, and then that people are willing to actually get that set. So I'm hoping it goes more that route. In terms of buildings, I mean, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, like you've got Zonkos, you've got the 3 broomsticks.
Yeah, that would be important.
And then you've got like, drawing a blank on the third building. Honeydukes, yes, thank you. So you got like those 3, which I would imagine would be part of it. I think the other question is, do they go with like a Shrieking Shack, or do they maybe hold off on that as being another D2C kind of set that fits in with that display, you know, in a subsequent year? Like, I think that might be the way to go, have 3 prominent buildings. Kind of like the 2021 Hogsmeade, which I know we really liked.
We really liked that set, yeah. That one looked really cool, and it almost felt like it could fit in with like the Holiday Village. That one was, yeah.
Yeah.
It had that, I don't know, cute, nostalgic town look.
And I'm excited for the architecture. Like, if you look at some of the Hogsmeade stuff, whether it's in the Harry Potter movies or if you look at some of the artwork that surrounds that community, it's, you know, a 18th century, 17th century English village that's got the Tudor and the thatched roofs. And as a castle fan, like, I think you could see that depending on if it's like a winter scene going more in your Holiday Village display or your castle display, depending on how it all turns out. So like, I think there's some really intriguing possibilities. I haven't seen any, like I've seen like some, I think, piece counts, and I want to say it's like 2,900 pieces. Don't quote me on that. So I don't know like any of the other details, maybe, you know, with the exception of some minifigs. So we'll see. That's another one. So yeah, September's going to be an interesting month with those 3 sets. And possibly, when is Willy Wonka coming out? I forget. September, October? Anyway, yeah, lots of stuff coming up that we'll be talking about on this channel.
All right, thanks. That wraps up our questions for today. Please leave your comments below for questions for next month's Off the Cuff. We love answering those questions. Thanks for watching. Please like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring the bell for notifications. And always remember to keep building together.